Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and I decided to try doing a micro home. And I'm not gonna lie, when I started I really didn't know what I wanted this to look like. You can see I'm messing around a lot with the roof because I was trying to do some cute little thing, but then the parts of the roof were like intersecting with each other and it just looked really weird, and I didn't want to use any of the tile count for like a porch. I really wanted to utilize all of those tiles for the interior of the home, since I was restricting myself to 32 tiles. And if you want to download this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery under my ID Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And if you actually use a micro home, it comes with like a ton of perks. So I'm trying to remember, do you actually have to have the pack in order to have access to the like tiny home perks, or is that something that they added like in with base game? I honestly cannot remember, so let me know if you remember or if you know, because I can't remember. And also I think it is raining outside right now, so I'm hoping you can't hear that. It has been like storming recently. Like I woke up in the middle of the night and it was like raining. Anyways, like you didn't have to know that, but I thought I would share anyways. And I struggled a bit with just the color scheme in general. But I will say that I think it was around the time that I decided what like door and windows I wanted that things started to come together a little bit more. I do actually end up getting rid of that little roof piece that I have added there, and I was trying to, you can see I was trying to match the color with a door, and it just, there weren't many doors and windows that really matched with it. So I ended up just kind of scrapping that idea, and I'm kind of happy that I did. And instead we went with this really beautiful front door that is from Realm of Magic. I honestly don't even remember this door. I feel like I say that all the time, but I guess there's just so many items in the game at this point. Like if you have all the packs, that like some of the items are easy to forget about. But anyways, I saw that and I just was like, this is the door. And then we had these beautiful matching windows, and they also have like a rectangular window that I will utilize in this home as well. And originally I wanted a back door. Like that was the plan for this home, but I ended up taking it out because I wanted room for a dining room like instead. And this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and it has like, it's like an own enclosed bedroom space. And I say that because like I feel like tiny homes, it's like easier to not actually have a closed off bedroom, if that makes sense. But I actually did end up including that here, and it is literally for one sim. Although, I guess you could swap out that single bed for like a what am I trying to say? I was going to say a double bed. No, a bunk bed. And so you could have 2 Sims in there if you wanted to swap that bed out, of course, depending on what kind of gameplay you wanted to do. And here I'm about to put 2 doors, 2 different door styles in the house, like for the bathroom and the bedroom. Like don't worry, I do actually decide on one. I just couldn't decide at the time, so I just kind of left them both in there until I kind of knew what I wanted to do, if that makes sense. Like I knew it was going to be one of those, and I was still trying to feel out like what style we had here, the color scheme, just like, you know, like what the feeling was going to be for this home. And I really went in with this like green, white, gray, black kind of color scheme, and I got to use those beautiful cabinets from the vampire pack. That green is so pretty. Like I feel like every time I get the opportunity I want to use them. Like I feel like sometimes I try to use them even though like I know that's not really gonna work out super well, but they're just so pretty. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just such that like that saturated like gem kind of color that it just makes it so pretty. And I don't end up using a fireplace, although I did think about it and was very tempted to do so. And I do even include a little desk area in here as well, because I figured, you know, your Sims may want to actually use a computer and do some skill building, like all of that kind of good stuff. So we do include that in here, and like I said, a 2-person dining table as well. And you may notice that the bathroom is only going to be 2 tiles, but for like micro homes, like a good kind of like trick to use is first of all not including a sink in the bathroom, because if you have one in the kitchen, you don't necessarily need one in the bathroom, which is not like super ideal, but like you can do that, so I did that in this case. And also, if you use the shower that came with either the university pack or with Snowy Escape, you can basically put it on the same tile as the door and your sim can still use it. And this has been play tested, so you shouldn't have any kind of issues. I actually did run into like a problem when I was play testing. Later on, when we were doing the bedroom, I ended up including like a dresser, which I really thought was going to work, but the sim did not care for it. So we ended up taking that dresser out, which is fine. There's a mirror, so your sim can still like change clothes and all of that good kind of stuff, which I feel like dressers are one of the first things to go along with the sink in the bathroom if you're trying to make a really tiny build, because they're just not necessary, if that makes sense. And like a mirror is so much easier to place and use, and like so much lower like profile, that you can like have that next to a door or something like that and not have any issues with like actually trying to get around the space. And it's actually so funny. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm doing some pre-recording right now because I will be out of town for a few days, and so I actually built 3 different homes yesterday, and I will be doing the voiceovers for all 3 of them today. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. I feel like I'm definitely gonna forget about what I've said in one voiceover versus another. But when I was taking screenshots for this build, I noticed I did not put any clutter in the shelf that is above the TV. I noticed it when I was taking screenshots, and I was like, oh my gosh, that can't be. Like, I can't have a build that doesn't have a bunch of clutter everywhere. So anyways, I do end up adding a few things to that shelf. So in the screenshots, if you notice there's items there, but there aren't any now, that's why. I also had an issue. I literally, all 3 of the builds I did yesterday, something happened when I was taking screenshots. I'm telling you, I don't know what it was, but yesterday was like not my day for building, because, fun fact, the sink in the kitchen disappeared. And I didn't notice it until after I already uploaded it to the gallery. So one caveat, if you download this off the gallery, this sink is missing in the kitchen, and I don't know why. Like, it just disappeared. And like I said, I took the screenshots after I uploaded it, so it was already up on the gallery. So apologies, but you can place the sink in there. And I also noticed that I didn't paint one side of that half wall, the one that's in the living room. I guess because I put the couch there like immediately, so you can't really see it. But anyways, I thought I'd go ahead and warn you. If you download it, those are things you're gonna have to look out for. I literally, when I was taking screenshots, I was like, I can't believe it. Like, how did I do that? You know what I mean? Like, how did I make that mistake? It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But I actually, like, I'm sure you'll also hear me talk about it in some upcoming speed builds. But the other 2 builds that I made yesterday, both of them had a fireplace, and I like to like have a sim like light the fireplace like when I'm taking screenshots, because it just looks so pretty. Both of them caught on fire. And I don't know how. Like, you know, it happens sometimes, but like, how did 2 builds in one day do that to me? So that was really fun. So they burned down part of the build, so I had to replace it. Anyways, what's on the gallery is totally fine for those other builds, but I was just like, what is happening between like the sink disappearing and then like the other 2 builds like having fires? Like, I think actually I may have taken a screenshot in one of the other builds when I did that, so I don't know. One of the other ones may have a random screenshot of like part of the build on fire, so that's really fun. I was just like, how is this possible? Because it's The Sims, and The Sims is ridiculous. But anyways, I just feel like I talked over so much of this build, but I really felt like it kind of came together with those cabinets and just having those pops of green in here. And I kind of put in like some shelving kind of storage here at the end of the bed, because it felt really empty there. So I wanted to like, you know, put some stuff there because I can't help it. And this build came out to be about 50,000 simoleons, which is kind of impressive given that it's so small. I don't know how I do that. I really, really don't. Like, I think I talked about that, and I think it was maybe like my fairy village build or something that I did a while ago. Like, it ended up being like 200,000 simoleons or something crazy like that. And how is that even possible? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's difficult to do, is like to use that many simoleons, but somehow I did it. I don't know. But anyways, just for this space, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the fencing options that I had. So I kind of made my own. So I used this like wooden partition here and like made my own fence. And then I realized once I did this that there was no way to actually get to the backyard because I took out the back door. So we do end up going back. Don't worry, your sim can get there. I do end up adding in a gate, but I just thought it was kind of funny. I was like, oh, that's going to be an issue because those aren't like debug items. So your sim's not going to like walk through them. But what I ended up doing was basically taking one of them out and then adding a fence there so that I could put a gate there, if that makes sense. So your sim can get back there, and you can see I'm messing around a lot with like the like trees on this lot and what I wanted wanted this to look like. And we ended up like with this really relaxing area. Like I end up putting like a really cute pond in the front, like, and we do end up having this like small area for like a car, and I think it ended up looking just really adorable. And in the backyard, I know I'm ahead of myself now, but in the backyard we end up adding like a small Zen garden kind of area with a yoga mat and a meditation, I don't know, cushion, whatever it's called. So your sims can do that. And like with these really nice green, calming green colors, like I felt like, you know what, this is, I guess, kind of like a relaxing build, you know, maybe a sim that's like into wellness, that kind of thing. And it just ended up looking really nice. And like I said, when I started, I really didn't have a direction for this. So this was really just like, as I was going, like what I felt like doing. And I think it turned out really nicely. And I will say that the area that right now in the middle that I've kind of got fenced off is where I'm going to end up actually putting in that little like pond thing. And I tried to use the actual pond tool, but it was kind of giving me a hard time. So technically it's a pool. So your sim can also like swim if they want to, but they'll be swimming in a pond. I ended up adding also, like, my idea was that it was like a koi pond or something, but we don't like have koi in the game. So I ended up adding like the country fish or whatever it's called into the pond, and you can still place that in a pool. So we do end up having that, and I end up putting some like lily pads and stuff like that on top, and I think it ended up looking really adorable. But your sim can like swim in it, so that's kind of fun. So they have something else to do. So, you know, just keep an eye on that, like, so that your sim doesn't just like go out there and they're exhausted and they drown, because, you know, that's just like, that's not great when your sims just kind of do whatever they want to, and then the next thing you know, it's like they're freezing to death or something. And I don't know why it gave me such a hard time when I was trying to put that little fountain there. Like literally it just didn't want to work. I was like, you have to be kidding me. But it's fine. Like I figured it out. It's there. And we also have like a really nice seating grill area, and I include like a fireplace outside as well. And I think it's just, I don't know, I feel like it's a really lovely, nice place to entertain. And like I said, I was very careful with tile count. So you notice that, like, also because I didn't use a fence on the outside, that made it a little bit easier, because even if you like fence in an enclosed area, like the game will want to count it as part of the tile count. It's so silly. So I made sure not to like, you know, close in like any of those spaces so that you know, still only have 32 tiles. And I guess I don't know exactly how the game is programmed for that, but I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't count since it is like outside. Because, I mean, you're allowed to have, like, outside spaces if you have a tiny home, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the point. Like, that you might live more outdoors. But anyways, like, I don't live in a tiny home, so I don't know. But just adding in a few, like, decor items over here. And some of the, I think it was from Snowy Escape, like, those rocks that actually have, like, sand around them. So I thought that was really pretty. And then adding, it looks like lavender to me. I actually don't know what those are called, but I thought it looked really nice. So adding kind of, like, minimal vegetation back here. I thought it looked, you know, very relaxing and everything. And we do end up putting plenty of lights out here so your sims can actually see what's going on if they actually want to be outside when it is dark. And then adding in over in the corner there, like I said, I wanted to put in a fireplace. I thought about doing like a fire pit, and like maybe I really like the idea of having like a sunken area for that. But in order to do that, at least the way I was trying to do it was with a platform. And if I do that, that was a tile count. So I ended up not doing that, which made me a little bit sad, but that's okay. It'll be fine. I think it worked out really nicely anyways. And then I ended up using one of those vertical planter things from Eco Lifestyle too over in the corner. So if your sim wanted to do a little bit of gardening, they can do that as well. Because I do try to, even in the tiny homes, make sure I have stuff in there for your sims to do. And you can see I'm using those like wooden panels. I thought it looked really cool, but as I suspected, your sim won't light the fireplace for the one that's like near the firewood, so I do end up having to take that out, but I do leave the one that's on top, like on the mantle. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.